Chris Moneymaker's cards 5 and 4.
In fact, if Sammy can double up, he would take the chip lead, and that's how it is when you're heads up.
Sam Farha looks at a Jack-10 and bets 100,000 to Moneymaker, who quickly calls it.
And Sammy a 2-to-1 favorite right now going into the flop.
And here it comes. It is Jack 5-4, 2 pair for Chris Moneymaker, 1 for Sam Farha.
Your top pair for Sam Farha, but once again, Chris Moneymaker has gotten another fortunate flop.
Chris Moneymaker checks now over to Sam Farha, who throws in a bet of 175,000. He's reaching.
I'm gonna raise.
The raise is 300,000 now. Back to Farha.
Okay, I'll go all in. Let's go.
I'll call.
Sam Farha goes all in, and Chris Moneymaker's going to call it.
One pair for Sam Farha.
And Sam sees the grim news, and with 2 pair, Chris Moneymaker, a statistical improbability to win this title at the outset, is now closing in on making it an incredible reality.
Turn card is an 8 of diamonds.
No help yet, and Farha to stay alive would need a jack, a 10, or an 8, or this is over.
1 card away from a new world, Chris Moneymaker.
This could be the last card of the 2003 World Series of Poker.
It's a 5.
With a full house, Chris Moneymaker eliminates Sam Farha, and the 27-year-old has stepped out of the virtual poker room and in a very swift and unlikely manner is atop the poker world.
This is beyond fairy tale. It's inconceivable. Raymer has been the more aggressive player, Williams much tighter, and they both made it work.
Now David Williams with an ace-4 offsuit, and he will come out with 300,000 chips. Greg Raymer, first look at his hole cards, 2 8s.
They always love a pocket pair and heads up.
Raymer has a lot of chips to choose from, and he will make the call only. Raymer with a 2-to-1 advantage going to the flop. It comes out 4-2-5. David Williams pairs his 4, but he still trails Raymer's 8s.
Williams does pick up an inside straight draw.
Raymer checks, and David Williams bets 500,000.
He likes his hand. Middle pair, straight draw with the ace.
1.6.
And Greg Raymer likes his hand even more. Great read from Fossil Man. He will raise 1.6 million, and he's got the best hand right now.
David Williams already reaching for chips. We have seen him work so quickly throughout this tournament, and here he is making the call right away.
Williams sees low cards on the board, figured they would not help Raymer. What he doesn't figure is that Raymer does have a high pocket pair.
Shirley Williams in her most anxious moment of the whole tournament. Same could be said for Cheryl Raymer.
Fossil Man looks at that board and figures the only thing that could worry him is a higher pocket pair for Williams, and he doesn't think he has it.
Now the turn card. It's a 2, which pairs the board. Williams keeps improving his hand, and that's very dangerous because he still trails Greg Raymer.
2.5.
Raymer bets 2.5 million.
And immediately David Williams calls. Talk about being pot committed. Williams has put a boatload of chips in. In fact, he's put in 40% of his stack into this pot.
What a long way David Williams has come to be at this point of the tournament. With 17 players left, he had under 200,000 chips. Raymer had that on day 2.
Williams a 4-to-1 underdog as we go to the river. He can still come up with the best hand. If he gets a 4 for a full house, a 3 would give him a straight, an ace would give him aces up.
River card, another 2. Now both players have full houses. Raymer has the better full house. He can only lose if he folds.
All in.
And he's all in.
And that would put David Williams all in. And if David Williams calls, it's all over. Greg Raymer would be the champion.
Call.
And Williams will call. The cards are turned. Raymer wins it all. Raymer has bested the biggest tournament field in poker history. He wins the $5 million and is the 2004 World Series of Poker champion. Steve Daneman with ace-3.
Raise.
Offsuit announces a raise. Blinds are at 150 and 300,000. Daneman raises it to 700,000. Hashem was 7-3 offsuit. Do you play this shorthanded even?
Not usually. Well, he can beat the 7 deuce.
Daneman with a 3-1 advantage as we go to the flop. The flop is 4, 5, 6. Hashem flopped a straight.
Well, now he can beat a lot of hands.
Oh my goodness.
And he will check his monster hand.
Daneman with a straight draw. That's 700,000.
Plus $1 million.
And a raise of 1 million more.
I thought Hashem might wait, but he will pounce now. Daneman's got a real playable hand, up and down straight draw plus the ace high.
Daneman makes the call. Now we go to the turn. Hashem with a big advantage. It's an ace.
That's a disaster card for Daneman.
The best he can hope for is a chop pot.
$2 million.
Hashem is in a great position. He'll bet $2 million. He cannot lose this hand.
Unfortunately for Daneman, he's got a pair of aces and an up and down straight draw. He's really got to like his hand.
This guy's always laughing at critical moments.
And these are treacherous waters for Steve Daneman. You can see the percentages.
You having fun?
My God, it's a ball. $2 million. That's a pretty large bet for a young man of your playing ability, huh?
I'm telling you, Lon, these guys should move in together, and ABC has its Odd Couple remake.
I raise $3 million more.
Daneman now announces a raise. And Hashem next to act, trying to figure out how to get the most chips he can out of his opponent.
He does want to double check to make sure he has that straight.
But we're being friendly. All right, stop. I'm all in.
Joseph Hashem is going to try to put Daneman all in. Hashem with the straight.
I'm all in.
And Daneman bites. Joseph Hashem has a straight and a title in the waiting.
Oh, the bracelet around his wrist now.
I got a chance.
Now not much of one. He can only tie this pot.
7 and 7 only.
Hashem has flopped a 7 straight.
Hashem trying to become the first foreign-born winner of the main event since Carlos Mortensen in 2001.
Hashem flopped the straight and then played Daneman perfectly here to the river.
Get that bracelet ready!
Paralyzing some of these offenses.
Come on, Hash!
Wait. There's one more card.
Good luck.
Not over yet.
Daneman needs a 7 or Joseph Hashem will be our world champion.
And now our river card. It's a board! Joseph Hashem stands alone.
Good job, buddy.
The man from down under has reached the pinnacle of poker and will forever be known as the 2005 world champion.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much.
Queen 9 offsuit for Jamie Gold.
This is Texas Hold'em, but nobody from Texas has won the main event since Jack Strauss in 1982. Wasika was born in Dallas.
Couple of 10s for Wasika. Wasika again reaching for chips. Raises it to 1.3.
Jamie casually calls the 1.3 million.
So Wasika in the lead with his 10s against Gold's Queen 9. Now the flop, Queen 8-5. Gold does it again, pairing his queen. Wasika, first to act now. 1.5 million chips.
All in.
And Gold's gonna push. Does Paul want to make his move now?
You don't have a queen, do you? I'm already all in. You can say whatever. You can't change my action. You don't have a queen, do you?
And this could be it for Paul Wasika.
I guess if you did, you'd call, so I got this one.
Jamie again, trying to turn the screws and mess with the mind.
No queen?
No queen.
Then I got you. You got a pair? You got.
I do have that.
So let's go. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Jamie trying to close another deal. Wasika making a decision for what could be his tournament life.
I think you're on a draw.
I definitely do not have a good hand, but I think I'm gonna win.
I think you have a draw. All right, you talked me into it.
You call?
Here we go.
Yes!
Wasika calls all
This is
in.
it, baby. Yeah! Yeah!
Jamie Gold
This
puts
is it.
himself in position to win this title.
So close. So close.
Jamie's glad his mom is here, but they both wish that his dad, Robert, who suffers from Lou Gehrig's disease, were also here to share this moment.
Credit Jamie for making another sale here and getting Wasika to call.
Turn card is an ace, not what Wasika needed. He's got one last chance to keep it going.
One card to go.
Don't jump with me
Tell me
again,
what
okay?
happens. I won't.
Okay, just relax. Don't even
Tell
look.
me what happens.
Okay.
And just tell me
This
no
is it,
10.
man.
Tell me no
There
10.
ain't no 10. There's only one card a day.
come
Ain't not
so
gonna
far.
come. This is it, man.
You've come so
this
far.
is go. No 10.
No 10.
It's all right. Relax. Breathe. Just breathe. Relax.
Wasika needs a 10 or it's over.
Just breathe.
Jamie Gold has done it.
You're awesome. You played awesome. You're awesome.
Jamie Gold makes believers of us all.
A raise.
Jerry is going to raise it. Any pocket pair heads up, but pretty much any two cards for Jerry means a raise. He makes it $2.3 million.
Twan Lamb actually played very well to get here. He just got conservative here at the final table.
Ace, queen of diamonds.
I'm all in.
And he moves all in. So Lamb putting the pressure on early.
Yang will take his time. Even if he were to call here and lose, he'd still have a 3-2 chip lead on Lamb.
I call.
Jerry makes the call, and here we go.
Yes.
Both players, Norman,
Come
seem
on.
pleased with their hole cards.
Come on.
Jerry should be happier.
I'm gonna do it for Canada, man. Yes.
Twan Lamb with ace-queen needs some help. Jerry Yang will need to just hang on with those pocket eights.
Yang trying to complete his remarkable final table run. He started as the second shortest stack, but like Jamie Gold last year, he has knocked out all but one player here at the final table. Lamb just looking to get lucky.
All right, and now the flop. And he does get lucky! Lamb pairs his queen!
Twan Lamb has come from behind again and again. And for the all-day chip leader, Jerry Yang has taken a ton of blows to the head.
Lamb in great position to put a hurt on Jerry.
Pair up, baby.
Yang looking for help on the turn. Turn card is a 7. Lamb still way ahead, but Jerry picks up a straight draw.
That gives Jerry 4 more outs here. 2 improbable finalists bumping heads in poker's biggest arena.
Jerry's wife, Sue, most anxious right now, and Jerry holding that picture of their kids in his hands.
To knock Lamb out and end this thing, Yang will need an 8 or a 6 for a straight.
The river card is a 6! He hit it! Jerry Yang is the 2007 world champion. Eastgate looks at ace-5 off suit. He limps in for $500,000.
Well, one way or the other, we are going to have our third foreign-born main event champion in 4 years.
With 4 deuce of hearts, Davidoff checks the big blind. The flop is deuce king tray. Davidoff with a pair of deuces. Eastgate picked up a wheel draw. Davidoff first to act. He checks.
Eastgate says he's studied ESPN tapes on his opponents, It is amazing how much you can learn just listening to me talk.
Eastgate with ace high in his draw, bets 1.25 million. Demidov with a small pair.
Any pair and heads up on the flop, chances are you're ahead, and Demidov is ahead.
He makes the call. Turn card now is a 4, and what a card for Eastgate, hitting his straight, and that's a disaster for Demidov because he caught 2 pair.
Yeah, that might be the prettiest card Peter Eastgate ever will see, and it is an ugly 2 pair for Ivan Demidov. That turn card could be a $9 million card for Eastgate.
Demidov checked his 4s and deuces. Eastgate with the made wheel bets 2 million.
Eastgate is inching toward Phil Hellmuth and history.
6.
And Demidov will raise to 6 million.
Demidov now has committed half of his chips into this pot.
And a wave of nervous energy courses through this theater. Eastgate just flat calls.
Yeah, the smooth call from the 22-year-old on the brink of becoming the youngest main event champion ever. Demidov is committed here. He'll have to get lucky and hit his full house on the river.
And here is the river card. It is a 7. Eastgate earns the check mark with that straight. Demidov left with just 2 pair.
And Eastgate's got to figure his wheel is good.
Demidov first to act.
I'm all in.
I call.
All in and an insta call, and this is the moment. 22-year-old Peter Eastgate steps into poker history. Peter Eastgate is our 2008 main event champion.
From unknown to unreal again at the World Series. Peter Eastgate, 22 years old, the youngest main event champion ever. Cato is a moneymaker baby boomer. He started playing online in his teens after watching Chris Moneymaker's main event win.
And a standard raise now to 3 million. Darvin Moon, Queen Jack of diamonds. And Moon looks like he's going to raise it up. He will make it 8 million to stick around.
Darvin consistent at this entire final table in his aggression.
Joe needs 5 to call.
Small one.
Now Kata is the aggressor trying to put Darvin Moon all in.
And now it's Darvin's moment of truth. Is he willing to risk it all here?
Call.
And Darvin makes the call with his suited Queen Jack.
Wow, Darvin plays by different rules, and he makes that all-in call for $64 million.
So here we go, Joe Kata on the precipice of becoming the youngest world champion ever.
Phil Hellmuth's record as youngest main event champ stood for 19 years. Peter Eastgate's record could be wiped out in 1.
And here is the flop. 8 deuce 7. That is a good flop for Joe Kata.
Darvin takes it in stoically. Kata can't look.
Relax.
I'm relaxed.
That chant has gotten Kata through so many difficult moments. And now the turn card. It's a king. That's the only paint Darvin doesn't have.
Main event champion of the world.
On day 3, Kata jokingly told Peter Eastgate he would break his record. Now he's 1 card away from doing it. Darvin Moon needs a queen or a jack, or Joe Kata will be the main event champ.
And that 7 will end it. Joe Kata rewrites poker history, becoming the youngest main event champ ever.
You played a hell of a match. Good hand. You played a hell of a match. Seriously, all props in the world.
He's a kid with a dream come true. 21 years, 11 months, 21 days old.
Can John Racner write his own main event miracle story? Jonathan Duhamel with ace-jack.
All in.
And he raises Racner all in with the big ace. Duhamel's mom, Joanne, has to be a nervous wreck. All right, let's see what John Racner has. King 8 of diamonds.
Racner in the toughest of spots. Very little wiggle room.
Racner's mom and sister waiting for this critical decision.
I think he's got to risk it with the suited king. And the longer he takes, the better Duhamel feels about his ace.
I call.
John Racner makes the call, and he'll see his suited king is behind. The Racner camp pinning their hopes on the king-8. Duhamel with ace-jack ahead right now.
And we could be on the brink of history. Jonathan Duhamel poised to become the first Canadian to win the World Series main event. Racner chewing his gum to the last, even though his main event bubble is nearly burst.
All right, now the flop with John Racner at risk. The flop is 4-4-9, 1 diamond. Duhamel still good with his ace-jack.
All Racner can do is chew and hope.
Everyone on their feet here. We may be 2 cards from crowning a champion.
Canadian Tuan Lam finished second in the 2007 main event. Jonathan Duhamel closing in on first place here.
And now the turn card, 6 of clubs, no help for Racner. Jonathan Duhamel, a river card from World Series history. Both camps summoning all powers to bring their desired card. Duhamel came from behind so many times to stay alive in this main event. Now he just needs to stay ahead to take this title.
If Jonathan Duhamel can dodge a king or an 8, the main event bracelet is his.
And now the river card, it's a 5! Oh, Canada! Jonathan Duhamel is the world champion! And with a final pop of his gum, Racner is left to think about what could have been.
The adrenaline junkie gets the ultimate adrenaline rush.
First place money and the gold bracelet sit between these two heads-up combatants. Stashko with 10-7 of clubs.
All in.
Stashko shoves.
All in.
Players all in.
Pius Hines with ace-king makes the call, and here we go.
Stashko pushes with 16 big blinds left. He could have waited a little longer for a better hand. Hines now in position to become the first German to take home his world title, and Pius would be the second youngest main event champ ever.
Everyone here on their feet. Pius Hines with the best of it and 5 cards from winning $8.7 million. And the young German win it here. The flop. 5, deuce, 9, 1 club in there. Neither pairs up.
Not a lot in there for Stashko. For Hines, ace high was good enough to double up, and now ace high might be good enough to end it.
Hines just says, give me a clean board. Turn card, jack of hearts. Hines still best. Stashko picks up 4 additional outs with a gut shot.
Stashko with a little more hope to hang on to. Both players hoping to make history.
Both of these men have been through so much to make it to this point.
Stashko looking for an 8, 10, or 7, or Pius Hines is our champion.
The river card is a 4, and that will end it. Pius Hines is the 2011 world champion.
Merson actually born in Washington, D.C., Sylvia born in Malden, Massachusetts.
Merson with king 5 of diamonds and a min raise to 4 million. Sylvia
Raised to 4 million.
looks down at queen jack of spades on the Jack Link Speed Jerky hole cam.
Now heads up, these are 2 strong suited hands. Before the main event final table began, Jesse said he had hoped to go heads up against his former roommate Russell Thomas. Jesse also said that Greg Merson was the best player at this final table.
Sylvia not going anywhere, as you said, with a very playable hand. And he actually re-raises to 9.5 million.
I'm not sure what's more surprising, that the Orioles were a contender in 2012 or that the chip leader at the main event is wearing an Oriole jersey.
An Adam Jones jersey.
All in.
Merson raises Sylvia all in.
Moment of truth for Jesse Sylvia. Main event title aside, Jesse would be getting the right price to call here, but he did start the hand with 35 big blinds, and I don't believe he thinks his hand is best right now.
So difficult to put your opponent on a narrow range of hands pre-flop, especially under these circumstances, especially heads up. This would be for all his chips.
I call.
And he makes the call. Sylvia at risk, but he's got 2 live cards.
So we have like a suited queen.
Greg Merson now 1 clean board away from main event glory.
I don't think Vanessa's too happy. Jesse's girlfriend, Ashley, is hopeful.
Merson stays in character. Just another day at the office. Sylvia joins his rail.
They're racing for Jesse's tournament life. Merson a clean board away from the title. The flop, 6 tray 9, no help for Sylvia. Merson 2 cards from the win.
Merson now a 3-1 favorite to become world champion.
Everyone on their feet. The turn card, another 6. Greg Merson, 1 card from a payday of $8.5 million.
Sylvia hit a 7-outer earlier against Merson to stay alive. Can he hit a 6-outer now?
Will it be all over for Jesse and his gang?
Queen or a jack, or Greg Merson is world champion.
Will Greg Merson give up the chip lead here? And the river card is a 7. Sylvia is out. Greg Merson is the 2012 main event champion. A beast with a monster chip lead, a 12-1 advantage on Farber. Reese looks down at 2 more pretty cards, ace, king of hearts. A raise to $2.5 million. Jay Farber, queen 5 of spades.
All in.
Call.
He says all in, and Reese makes the call. Reese with the upper hand again.
We have ace king. Ace king versus queen 5.
Ryan Reese riding the wave of great cards. Jay Farber can't get out of his way.
I don't think I played bad at all.
Do you want to hit the 5 or the queen? I want to hit the 5.
Pro Chance Corneth with a desperation pep talk for Farber.
He said everything.
Jay.
He's running like God. I can't do it.
Jay, he's ran my 5.
I know.
If you win this hand, it doesn't matter. So you just keep it up.
I mean, whatever.
So, 5's my favorite card in the deck, so I'm going to serve with the 5 of hearts.
Whatever.
And the 5 of diamonds.
I don't actually care.
Ryan Reese on the verge of $8.3 million.
Checkers the jack 10 and like
When that hand was a 9, I had a pair, but like he.
All right, the flop, 4, jack 10. Reese with a Broadway draw, stealing Farber's queen.
Yeah, that flop cuts Farber's outs in half. A queen now would give Ryan Reese an ace high straight.
Oh, the king's great.
As you mentioned, Reese all in on day 7 for just 10 big blinds. But now, so close to winning it all. A tray on the turn. No help for Farber.
Let's go.
Farber deflated and about to be defeated.
So much respect from everyone. Absolutely. Like, seriously. You're the new GOAT, man. Every matter what happens.
Tears already in the eyes of Ryan Reese with 1 card to come.
Ryan Reese needs to dodge a 5 on the river, and the main event championship will be his.
The river card is a 4!
Yes!
Ryan Reese is the world champion! Stevenson with the button. Ace 9 of hearts.
This is Stevenson's first World Series cash ever. It's a pretty good one.
Minimum payout $5.1 million here. He's going to raise it up with a suited ace, $3.5 million. Now Jacobson peeks down at 2 red 10s.
2 big hands, heads up.
All in.
He re-raises Stevenson all in. There is the call, but Stevenson is not going to like what he sees.
If those hands played themselves, nothing Stevenson could do but get lucky now.
Martin Jacobson set up to claim this championship right now.
Just leave that up. You can start small. You can start a lot smaller when you're that far.
To his credit, Scott Seaver still coaching here in case we continue.
The combatants can only now wait for the dealer.
If you want, you can just not be 3 bet. You can not be 3 bet.
And here is the flop.
25 bits.
A 10 in the window. Jacobson with the set. Stevenson all but cooked.
Yeah, only running nines or running aces will keep Martin Jacobson away from the main event title now.
Good game, man. Well played. Good job. Come on, where's the sweat? Yeah. Figure 9. That's pretty well. Hey, say anything. All right, so you're buying dinner then. It's not over yet.
And now the turn card. Jacobson poised to take the cash. It's a king. It's over. Martin Jacobson completes his masterpiece to become the 2014 World Champion.
Pocket tens deliver $10 million for Martin Jacobson.
All right, Beckley has the action. Pocket fours. He says all in.
Call.
Ace 10 for Joe. This could be it.
We're flipping. Ace 10 fours.
Nobody flips with McKeon. You simply pray.
Beckley comfortable with his shove.
One turn of a card can change one life forever. If Joe McKeon doesn't hit a 10 on the river on day 6, he's just another average Joe. One of 1,000 largely anonymous faces cashing in this main event. There was a 9% chance that card would come. It came, and he goes from average Joe to maybe world champion Joe McKeon.
Pocket fours for Beckley. Ace 10 for McKeon. Here's the flop, a 10 in the window! And now it's Beckley needing to find a poker miracle to stay alive.
No runners, just a 4.
McKeon should change the license plate on his Prius to no runners.
Anything but a 4. Anything but a 4.
Beckley drawing very thin here. Turn card, another 5. Beckley down to his last chance.
Have the right amount of spots. If I win, stay there until I talk to Josh, okay?
If he wins, boy, can't believe he's not more optimistic.
Now the river card.
Beckley's gotta have a 4.
The river's a jack. Joe McKeon goes wire to wire. He's the 2015 world champ.
Yeah, thanks. Great. Yeah, thanks.
Work. It just feels like a matter of time before Quee puts him out of his misery.
King 10 of clubs for Quee Win. 8.5 million is the raise to Veo now. Jack 10 of spades.
Jack 10 suited is the Swiss Army knife of poker hands. It's good in all types of situations, including shoving when you have 17 bigs left. Just bad luck for Gordon here.
On.
Yep, there it is, all in. He's ready to rumble, and a call from Win. Win's got the best of it. Veo with another uphill climb.
Gordon Veo began heads up with the chip lead, but it has been exasperating, frustrating, and exhausting for him against the Las Vegas gambler. And again, Quee Win, the former nail salon owner, on the brink of the title.
Gordon Veo, once again, on the bottom end looking up, and there's a king for Win, top pair. Veo with a straight draw, of course.
Now, Quee has had his fill of runner-runners. He doesn't want to see a double gutter deny him here.
I've never seen him. It looks like he's wearing like a Rocky Raccoon hat when it's backwards. And it's what? That's never easy. We're doing tomorrow.
Quee in a great mood. Gordon remains upbeat.
You're crazy. Well, I'm so tired. I know you're so tired. I'm so tired.
The main event is a grind. Veo needs help. The turn card is the deuce of spades. No help to Veo. Quee Win one card away from poker immortality.
Anybody I fold the queen or an 8? I don't know.
You just have to love the way Gordon Vail handles himself.
Can Vail pull out another double up, or is this squeeze time?
Vail needs a queen or an 8, or Qui Win is main event champion.
And the river card is a tray, and Qui does it!
Good game, man. Yeah, good game. Bye, man. Take care.
Qui Win outplayed them all. He is the 2016 World Series of Poker main event champion.
Qui Win rewrites the book of poker and writes his name into poker history.
Blumstein with ace deuce.
These two born 2 months apart in 1992. Heads up for the bracelet.
Blumstein with the weakest of aces. Just calls.
Sometimes you go an entire heads up without anyone limping on the button, and we've seen it a couple of times now already.
Ott with ace 8 of diamonds and a raise to 8 million.
Well, Scott was limping to trap Dan, except Dan with a big hand here heads up. Ott from Altoona, PA. Blumstein from Morristown, New Jersey. Center ring here in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Mullen.
And Scott loves his ace. That would put Dan all in.
Out chipped almost 5-1 and down to under 20 big blinds. This looks like a prime double-up spot for Dan Ott. Ott not so sure, and Blumstein surely must think he has the best hand right now with his ace-deuce.
Ott with all his chips to lose, and herein lies the reason for the delay. The room suddenly silent.
Yeah, Dan Ott looks distressed.
And he can get back in it right now.
Yeah, with a double out, Blumstein's chip lead would be back down to less than 2-1.
Ott at risk. Ott with a better hand.
So what do I do with ace deuce, a limp shove, or what? Too small. We're going to be freaking 40 bigs deep again.
Scott's parents better get comfortable.
Yet another Blumstein Ott all in. Familiar territory for them.
Ott looking for his ace-8 to hang on, and the better ace is still the better hand now for Dan Ott after the flop.
I'm going to sleep.
Turn card as both competitors pace the floor here in the Brasilia room at the Rio.
Just pair the board at least.
7 of hearts, status quo. Ott a clean river card away from a key double up.
Yeah, no pair, so no chop possibilities. Only a deuce knocks out Dan Ott and brings Scott Blumstein the title.
And the river card. Oh, the 2!
I guess a deuce on the river finally changed something.
King Jack suited. He says, let's play for 9 million.
9 million?
Queen 8 off, Tony Miles.
As we approach 200 hands, this is now the longest heads up in main event history. In 2016, Qui Win and Gordon Vail went 182 hands.
Wow. Tony Miles with aggression and then some, feeling frisky with his new won wealth, a 3-bet to 34 million.
Some late night pep to his step. By the way, if Sin wins this thing, his 11th and 1st in a 3-year span, that would compare very strongly to Joe Cada's 1st and 5th over a 10-year main event period.
Sin with his own suited 1-gapper will make the call. Tony not loving that.
Tony had only 2 World Series cashes before this one, totaling $6,400. This one will be either $5 million or $8.8 million.
His Queen 8 against Sin's King Jack suited. Big pot already. And boom, boom, trip kings is John Sin's reward for that pre-flop call.
Yeah, and after his 3-bet, Miles' reward is whiffing the flop.
John Sin sitting pretty. Will Tony continue his charade? It looks like he will, Norman.
Yeah, but first there'll be a chip dance, and then he'll make a C-bet.
At the worst possible time, Tony Miles with a C-bet equaling $32 million.
Sin sitting on a monster. He doesn't want to scare the fish off the hook. By the way, another reason they are moving slowly, they are tired.
Yeah. I think they've almost worn out their rails. John Sin with his Godzilla trip kings. Just calls. Look at the pot size, 133 million. Turn card, Miles now pairs his 8, but is drawing dead.
That's a shame.
Come on.
Wow, another bluff shove. It's his only hope of winning this pot, but not his only choice.
And this time, I don't think Johnson is folding.
I think if you just have me beat, it's just really gross. But I don't think I can fold. I don't think I can fold.
I don't think he can fold. Once again, as with Miles' other bluff shove, if Sin calls, he's world champion.
You have a flush draw. 113.5. 100. I promise I am not slow rolling you. I just really don't know. It's late. And it's a big decision. I don't have ace king. I don't have king queen.
Miles now knows for certain he's beat.
But I did call with king jack pre-flop. And I'm wondering if it was a mistake. I can't fold.
John's dad about to get the thrill of a lifetime.
At a different hour in a different event, this would have been a pretty quick call.
Sin finally does make the call that he had to make, and that makes John Sin our 2018 World Series of Poker Main Event champion.
I'm sorry, man. I wasn't trying to say.
He's slow rolling me.
Huh?
John Sin has brought the main event title home, wherever that may be.
Tony Miles quite dismayed right now. John Sin stunned by what has now come to him. And San now
11 million.
345 million chips. And San with kings.
Paying homage to our fallen colleague, Antonio Esfandiari. He tells me that with pocket kings, at least one ace will come on the flop 23% of the time. Thank you, Antonio. This is the 77% of the time that it did not come.
You are correct. 2 spades for Dario out there with his 8-4 spades in the hole.
He's one lucky turn card away from getting a bunch of those chips back. It's a lot of good cards for him on the turn, besides just a spade. Ones that let him continue any straight card.
He does put the chips in the middle. 9 of clubs.
Not bad. Pot could definitely get big.
How much you play, Dario? 140. 140.
9 giving Dario a gut shot. King's still good. for Insan here.
Bet 33 million.
33 million to Dario on the draw.
Got a good hand to semi-bluff with. It's just, it's so risky and it would take pretty much all his chips. I would assume he would jam here if he elected to raise at all.
Jamming with 27% equity.
If he saw the cards, he would not want
He said all in.
Yeah.
He did jam, and he gets a snap call.
Oh, wow.
This could be it right here.
Totally reasonable play, but running into kings. What do you think?
Dario Sammartino needing help. He's got 12 outs, but Hossein Insan one clean card away from a championship suddenly. Into the arms of Israel. Sammartino. The bluff, semi-bluff shove. It could be the first time the main event has been won with pocket kings.
Dyer left to just shake his head and hope he gets lucky to extend this.
And he would take the king of spades here, along with any other spade or a 7. Other than that, it is over. And the river car, the queen of clubs, will end the night. The shorter stack is all in for 390,000. Salas now looks down at King Jack.
And once again, these hands just play themselves. More than enough of a hand to call with.
And he does make the call. Salas a gambler, but Joseph favored to double back now.
This is my mom's favorite hand, so.
My favorite is the king.
Yeah.
Joseph trying to win it for his late mom. Hashtag for Linda. Salas looking for redemption. Abear ahead right now as we go to the flop. And there is a king for Salas. Now just 2 clean streets away from the victory.
Spade, please.
Abear just hoping for a spade. He's not getting too greedy and asking for the ace.
5 of diamonds, no help to Joseph. And it now comes down to just 1 card.
If Abear wants his main event dreams to stay alive, he's going to need the Barry Greenstein, the ace on the river.
The river card, Salas on the cusp of victory. Abear looking for a miracle. It is another king, and the full house and this near empty house brings Damian Salas his world championship. Chip stack's pretty even. The players are still about 100 big blinds deep. A very fair and fun fight so far. Holmes on the button and the small blind. King Queen a raise to 6 million. Aldemir 10-7 of diamonds.
We allow no pros in my home game, so Aldemir is out. But as I have said many, many times in the past week, George Holmes is doubly out, and he's a credit card processing and services business guy.
14.5 million in the middle.
Aldemir's had all he can handle.
And there's a 7 and a 10. Aldemir flops top 2, and he quickly checks.
That's a pretty good flop for 10-7.
Yeah, pretty good.
There are better flops, but this feels like top 5, maybe top 3.
So Holmes is going to continue. Has to continue here. 6 million.
I don't know if he has to continue, but he's got no quit in him. Though I think most folks would just take a free turn card here with king-queen.
One reason you raise pre-flop is to protect your hand, but in heads up, all bets are off and all bets are on. Aldemir now with 2 pair and the check raised to 19 million.
Yeah, Aldemir protecting his hand against any draws Holmes might have. Now, most humans would probably lay this down facing that check raise, but George Holmes is not most humans. Heck, he might 3-bet it here.
We've seen him speed right through stop signs before. And he does make the call. George being George. Turn card is a king for Holmes. His lot is improved, but he's still way behind.
No, it cost George 19 million chips to see that card, and he's still behind.
Aldemir now with the action. He checked the flop. He's not checking here. Hoping George has a piece of that board. 36.5 million.
Aldemir betting more than 2/3 of the pot, and it gets serious now for George Holmes.
More than a 4-1 underdog is Holmes right now. He's going to make this call, Norman. A gulp from Aldemir as the chips go in for the call. The pot has swelled to over 125 million. River card, the 9 of clubs, a safe card for Aldemir. His 2 pair are best.
Aldemir just took another gulp, and I just think he's going to want to take one more deep dive here with 2 pair.
And he does check. A bit more than a pot-sized bet left in each player's stack.
I imagine Holmes with top pair might be content to check behind here.
All in.
Whoa! George Holmes wants to play for it all.
This might be it. This might be it.
Don't know if he's bluffing or if Holmes thinks he has the best of it. Never saw it coming. If this were a weekend tournament in Hammond, Indiana, I think this is a call 9 times out of 10 from Aldemir, but you can see his distress.
Holmes didn't like what he just heard from Aldemir with this might be it.
To borrow from Scotty Wynn in 1998, if Karai calls, it's all over, baby.
He does make the call. Holmes shows the king, and Karai Aldemir puts his signature on this main event masterpiece.
Karai Aldemir started the final table with the most chips. He ended it with all the chips, and there was no stopping him.
Neither player able to establish a huge lead, each with more than 55 big blinds. Your stat limped with Queen Deuce. Attenborough checked his option with Jack 4. Deuce 4, Deuce trips for your stat. Attenborough pairs his 4 and checks.
That's a flop for Attenborough, but that's a flop and a half for your stat.
A min bet from your stat. Oh, wow. Big chips coming. A check raised to 14 million from Attenborough.
And he's again check raising the flop with the inferior hand.
Your stat can do whatever he wants here. And he fights back with the real hand, a 3-bet to 32 million.
Attenborough has played terrific to get heads up, particularly a couple of hands against Matija Dobrich late on day 7. He bluffed Dobrich in one big pot. Then he sniffed out a bluff from Dobrich after that for all his chips.
Attenborough getting sticky, calls for 18 million more.
There's no reason for him not to be sticky here with that 4.
Turn card. 8 of spades. Another check from Adrian.
Bjorstad waits, 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 then pounces.
He saw Adrian check raise on the last street. Check raise this, sir. 62 million.
These are heavy body blows now. Remember, Adrian just told Espen, when I call you, I'm going to take all your chips. That ain't going to happen on this hand.
Oh, wow. Espen has hooked a non-believer. Attenborough calls to build a pot of 200 million.
Quick line, grab the 200 million out of that middle, and let's head to Laughlin.
Let's go, baby. And a queen on the end. Your stat with the full house. Another check from Attenborough.
Yeah, what a comforting river for Jorstad. I think he was confident his trips were best, but this removes most any doubt. Wait, 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 pounce. That's what Espen does.
And he wants to end it right here, right now.
You just have value every hand. Huh?
This is deja vu all over again. Adrian had Jack 4 on the first hand of heads up, making a pair of 4s when Espen put them all in.
Man, what a tourney. What a tournament. Can I just jam for value one time and then you tank? That would be nice. Just don't know if you're capable of it, mate. I don't know. But now I don't want to fold. This one could look bad, guys. People are going to be like, why am I tanking with my hand? But I really want to call this one.
On hand 1, he says, I love this hand.
Oh, once again, he's left with 4s. If he calls, it's over. If he folds, he still has 32 bigs.
What a game. What a game. Why do I have a weird feeling this is the one time you chose to bluff me?
Imagine if Jorstad said, you call it, it's all over, baby.
I really want to call. Really badly. That's such a bad hand.
He knows Espen has bluffed before. He can only beat a bluff here.
I just never know what to do.
He is tortured. He calls.
Call.
He loses.
I'm out.
Espen Jorstad is the world champion.
That was a really bad call. That was a really bad call. That was a really bad call, then.
Espen Jorstad plants the Norwegian flag at the main event for the very first time. Jones, Jack 8. We continue heads up here. The final 2 from the field of 10,043, the biggest field ever in the main event. Breaking records this year in a lot of events.
Jones deviating a bit, finding a raise now on the button with Jack 8.
Jack 5 deuce, couple of spades, a jack for both of them. Weinman best with the king.
Certainly a cooler and heads-up play to both flop top pair. You can easily see 3 streets going in when you have top pair.
Weinman giving Jones some rope. Steven puts in $6 million.
is going to be aware of the fact that Jones, who has been limping in for the most part, now raised on the button. So that could be an indication to Weinman about the strength of his hand.
Raise, 18.5.
There is the check raise from Weinman. The total bet, $18.5 million now.
And if Weinman is giving Jones credit for a strong hand pre-flop, when he opens the button, then this is a nice check raise here to just go ahead and fast play. Also, there's going to be, you know, a lot of draws that potentially Weinman is check raising with here. You know, some of those straight combinations, some flush combinations. Don't want a bad card to come off on the turn and kill his action.
Jones, of course, coming along with his Jack-8. Turn card now.
Pretty interesting card on the turn, because if we talk about the potential part of Weinman's range consisting of some of these gut shots on the flop, you know, maybe a 6-4 or, you know, an open under like 4-3, then now those hands have a pair and a straight draw and would likely continue to keep up the aggression. And of course, Weinman's actual hand being top pair with the second best kicker, going to be ahead of a lot of Jones's continue.
What is it? 38 million.
And for the ace X's, that could potentially be in Jones's range as well, that now have a gut shot, ace high, pursuing value. And from Jones's actual hand, it's got to look pretty good against some of those other combinations, some of those semi-bluffs that I talked about Weinman having.
As Alex Foxen mentioned, for a rec player, Stephen Jones, with good reading ability, good instincts. Hard to get away from this, though.
Yeah, what would he put Weinman on?
Still enough draws, you know, flush draws, pair and straight draws that Jones is beating. Be pretty hard to fold top pair on this particular street. I think a lot of times you will see players call and decide on rivers, but this pot getting very big.
There's 600 million chips on the table between them. If Stephen Jones calls here, 20% of them will be in the middle.
Jack high board, both players with a jack in the hole, and Jones with a monster decision here.
Jones knows that there's going to be a lot of bad rivers for his hand. He's worried about investing more chips in this pot and maybe not knowing what to do on certain rivers.
And this call also would represent more than a quarter of Stephen Jones' remaining stack. This has been his longest tank of the heads-up match.
worth taking the time. This is the most significant pot we've seen in heads-up play so far. This also goes to show what happens, when we have an open raise pre-flop and a call, is these pots get bloated, which is why earlier we saw Jones taking a limping strategy almost 100% of the time on the button, trying to keep the pot small, maybe felt like that wasn't working, chose to raise pre-flop on this hand. And now we've got almost 100 million chip pot.
Daniel Weinman not giving anything away.
This reminds me, I went to the car wash about 2 months ago, and they asked me whether for another $15 I wanted the inside of the car vacuumed, and I was paralyzed. I tanked on it for a while.
Yeah.
They told me sooner or later, you got to make a decision. I saved the money.
Can Jones save chips here? What is his read
All in.
on Daniel Weinman? It's weakness.
Oh my gosh.
How much he wants to know. Wow.
Just trying to shut out
Feels good to fade the snap, though.
any equity from some of those hands I spoke about, some of those flush draws, some of those pair and straight draws. You can understand why Weinman is taking time to think.
Not unlike John Sins
There we
years
go.
ago, who only had to call to win the main event. Weinman now just needs a faded 8 to win the main event.
Just got to dodge an 8. He's got a lot of
King Jack.
Yeah.
Jones went for the gold right there.
No way we win.
Then you usually do not expect the all-in after that long of a thought process.
You're fine.
Can the best hand hold here?
One card to come. One card between Daniel Weinman and a world championship. Steve Jones, as you see his outs, upper left. He needs an 8. Well, Weinman is your winner. It has come down so quickly. The river card. The ace of hearts, and that will do it.
Wow.
He has tasted victory elsewhere, but never on this scale. Daniel Weinman, now the 2023 main event champion.
Different kind of showers for Dan, showered in beer.
And starting in 02, when the poker boom was just going underway, we had 6 straight rec players win the championship. Robert Varconi, Chris Moneymaker, Greg Raymer, Joe Hashem, Jamie Gold, and Jerry Yang. I think Raymer continues to say that he was actually a poker pro at that time. I'm not buying it.
He was a patent attorney.
He was a patent attorney. He played a lot of poker and played well.
Mm-hmm. Nine, 8 tray.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Action flop for sure. You've got top pair against middle and bottom 2 pair here for Tamayo. And, just also take note, Tamayo raising with 8-3 offsuit pre-flop just means that he doesn't have a whole lot of folds pre, just continuing to attack.
I made the Moneymaker Farha comparison earlier. Actually, on the final hand of that heads up, Farha's top pair, all in against Moneymaker's bottom 2 pair.
$40 million.
And Griff check raising here. A lot of draws out there. A lot of hands that have decent equity against top pair. But Tamayo's on no draw. He is already there and looking to get more chips in the middle. Just going to fast play, unblocking top pair.
Can Griff get away? No, he makes the call with just one pair.
And it is 0-3 all over again.
Tamayo now with a chance to win it all with a clean run out as Griff is in need. Jonathan Tamayo on the threshold of a championship.
Yeah, let's go, baby. Yeah. Seven's not bad.
7 of spades, 6 of clubs. 6 of clubs. 6 or 7. 10 balls on the back.
Another moment of truth at this final table.
10, 7, 6, 9.
Tamayo with the best of it right now.
Ace.
But that's another out.
Ace. 9, Ace, 6. Ace, 9, 6.
9-6 for ace. Or this one is over, and Tamayo is our champion. It is now his time. The river card.
Yes.
The 5 of diamonds.
It is his time.
And that is it.
Oh my God.